I want to talk about the risks posed by AI to kids. I want to thank Anna Kaliak for asking this question about how I introduce my children to AI in a safe way. I had to think about this for a few days because, as a parent, it's normally very triggering when someone asks about safety for my children. AI is definitely a risk, and so is doom scrolling on social media. And don't forget climate change. And what about crime and violence? And all the turmoil that's happening at schools and college campuses everywhere. There's a lot I have to protect my children from. That's my instinct as a parent. But why am I protecting them? To survive? Survival isn't enough for me, for any parent I know. I want my children to be happy, to thrive, to flourish, to live a good life. It's when I get to this stage that I'm now talking about things like thriving and flourishing and living a good life without knowing what they mean. But I want them anyway, because that's what a parent does. We want something for our children, we have no idea what it is. So, what is a good life for my children? Let me park there for a moment while I tell you about my kids and AI. My kids are around 10, and at that age, they're actually not very interested in AI. They think it's cute, like a toy. They play with it for a bit and have a giggle, and then they're done, and they go back to their lives. Because at 10 years old, they live a life in play and activities. They're immersed in their emotions, in what's happening in their bodies. They're enjoying each moment as it happens. They aren't impressed by AI's processing and reasoning capacity. They live outside of what AI can provide. And they seem pretty happy. They seem to already have a good life. We adults, however, pay a lot of attention to AI. I, for example, have learned through years of education and social influence to overvalue what AI does well, like analysis and reasoning, information processing. I've made thinking the center of everything. And yet, as adults, for all of our thinking and processing, we often struggle to feel as alive as children do. Where is our good life? The biggest risk for my children when it comes to AI is that they'll go from not needing AI at 10 to believing at 18 that human beings means nothing more than being a thinking machine. The biggest risk is for them to learn from me that machines are better than they are. So back to the question, how do I introduce AI in a safe way to my child? When he sees an elaborate response from ChatGPT and he asks me, "What do you say, Daddy?" When he looks for me to show him, should I be more like ChatGPT or should I be more like you? What part of my humanity will I have to show him? Maybe the answer isn't in how I introduce him to AI. Maybe it is in how I introduce him to being human. That thinking is only one part of us. That feeling, playing, being present in our bodies. These are not childhood phases to grow out of. They are what protect a good life for him